Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Okay, now, I hope this is connected as far as the microphone. Because I'm not seeing any bars there. Can you hear me? Would be an interesting thing. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that should be in there. Can you can hear me? Thank God for that. Sorry about that. So, welcome, JSA members, maybe a couple of outsiders. That is not static that you can hear. It is raining. It is absolutely pissing it down outside. And there's nothing I can do about the weather. There's nothing I can do about that in the JSA headquarters. This is your opportunity to ask me anything you want. You know, usually we say fitness, training, nutrition, but we can go wider. Things that are new this week. I got an ice bath. Why? Because I hate ice baths. I hate them. Now, I've said many a time before, I'd rather wank off a stranger in public than have an ice bath. But I thought, are my personal biases interfering with my ability to give advice on certain situations? And the answer to that is often yes. So I was like, do you know what? Let's do an ice bath every day for a month and see if there are any real tangible benefits. Kat asks here what benefits they're supposed to have. Supposed to help with the recovery, supposed to help with energy, supposed to help with mood. And everyone that does them is like, oh, James, you know, once you start doing ice baths, you know, these are the, and for a long time, I've called shit on it because I hate them. But then someone, I think it was Paul Mort, that said to me, but James, you're the biggest advocate of going for swims in the sea during winter. So maybe there are some benefits, but we're going to be finding out. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Another thing, I won't share you what else I'll be doing soon, but a lot of you are going to go, no way, no way. Sorry about the rain, just got heavier. Cool. James, what's your thoughts on Tonga Ali and Fedoja? I don't know much about Fedoja, but Tonga Ali is supposedly very effective at boosting your testosterone. I actually took Tonga Ali this morning. I know that Derek from More Plates, More Dates and Andrew Huberman came together and created a supplement called Sigma. Again, this is something that I'm trying out. I did my blood work a couple of months ago, but I'm going to be honest. I moved house. I've not been taking supplements in such a regimented regime, so I haven't got anything to report so long. Michael, why did you take such a long break from posting videos? I love your videos. On YouTube, all right, I'll be perfectly honest with you. YouTube's something that I really want to focus on. I really want to create good content on YouTube. But I did a course recently, and one thing that I've come to realize is if you're going to succeed on YouTube, you have to be good. You have to be really good. And what I can't do anymore is just repurpose content that I've made for Instagram and TikTok and put it on YouTube, because it's just not what YouTube's about. And when I'm looking at the people I need to compete with, I need to be putting more effort into YouTube videos. I need to be putting weeks and months of filming into a 10-minute video, which is usually I'll make a 1-minute video in 20 minutes. So call it, when you look at the production time, I'm not putting much effort in, and that's just not good enough for YouTube. So there are some projects that I'm going to work on, which are going to take a month to film a 10-minute video. Now that requires a lot of resources. It takes a lot of finances. It takes a lot of energy. And to be perfectly honest, I just haven't been able to allocate that into it. Like I say, I've been moving house. That's an excuse that I'm going to ride for quite a while. But other things like, I've got a good TikTok platform. I've got a good Instagram platform. I've got a good Facebook platform. And also, ultimately, the James Smith Academy is how I make money. This is how I survive. Other James and I, this is how we live. Now, YouTube, albeit something that I'm wishing to conquer, doesn't pay that massively, and it will take up a lot of time. So at the moment, I don't have 5 hours a week to invest into YouTube when I should be investing it into things that are going to help, you know, in the short term. If I make a YouTube video and it gets 1 million views, let's say, wow, that's amazing. I could be like, yeah, you know, that's so good. But that time could be better spent doing lives for you lot, doing Q&As, going through, you know, people's posts in the Facebook groups and the Discord and seeing what people are struggling with, doing form checks. So although I'd love to really work towards that silver play button, in short, what I'm saying is I need to work on, you know, things that are important or more important to me at the moment, which is James Smith Academy. Michael, Sandeep, have you spoke to Jay Alderton about them? Do you know what? I've seen a lot of people that I know closely, that Paul Mort, Jay Alderton, all these people that are like getting in icy water is not pleasant, but they still do it every day. People don't do things unless it serves them. So it's more the inquisitive part of me that's like, oh, is there something here that I could be doing? Okay, Preppy Goose, how many sets per week is max best per body part, chest, etc.? Again, I'm going to have to ask you what your goal is. I assume muscle growth. So imagine this, 20 sets and 10 sets. 20 sets might not be better, but it's all contextual. If you were to do 10 sets a week, but you were to do proper fucking reps and, you know, sets, that could be enough. But if you've not got a very good, you know, approach to training hard, working hard, and, you know, really finding what a lot of people call effective reps, you might need to do a lot more. So it's only when you're probably 2 or 3 reps away from failure that you're really working mechanisms that are going to contribute to muscle growth efficiently. So someone can leave the gym and go, yeah, I did 30 sets this week. But you're like, yeah, they were piss poor fucking sets. You're a pussy. As soon as you experience pain or lactic acid or whatever, you give up. Where someone else goes, yeah, I just did 3 sets per body part. But those 3 sets that they did were fucking, you know, balls to wall. So it's important that we understand it's not just about the amount of sets and reps. Sure, that's important, but it's the amount that you're giving it, contraction, load, stimulus, tempo, you know, all of these things that are so important. So yeah. Other exercises you can go to strengthen your ankles. I would expect 3 things here. The calf, the gastrocnemius, let's say, are responsible for pointing your toes. Let's keep it simple. So one thing that I've thought about in my life is I trained my calves the least and I had ankle injuries the most. But let's say you strengthen your ankles because you roll your ankles playing sport. There are sport-specific exercises and programming you can do to strengthen, say, the proprioception in your ankle, which is your body's knowledge of movement or whatever. So when I went back to Sevens, a friend of mine's a very good S&C coach. I said, have you got any exercises that I can use? And one, very strangely, imagine that my phone here is a plate, like a 20-kilogram plate. And imagine this is my foot. He got me to put my toes, so the ball of my foot on the front of the plate, and to do split squats with just the ball of my foot on the plate. Because when you sprint or when you run fast, it's only really the ball of your foot that's have contact in the ground. So if the ball of your foot is here and your heel is up here, it's not just calf muscles you need, it's all those like tiny intricate ligaments in the ankle. So although I've hijacked your question a bit there, is it ankle exercises you want, or is it to mitigate and reduce the chance of injury in that area? Because if it's reducing the chance of injury in that area, maybe you need to change things up and, you know, work on stability stuff, single leg stuff, lunge stuff, or whatever it is. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but I kind of want to know a bit more about why you'd want to strengthen your ankles. Connor, did my first comp in BJJ today after asking you what I should do in my first comp. Came away with 2 bronze medals in gi and no gi. That's sick. And do you know what I'd say to you as well? In the beginning, experience is the most important thing, but maybe some competitions, just go and do gi or no gi and alternate. Then you're not there all day. It's not such an exhaustive process. You can work a bit harder and whatever it is. But yeah, that's very good. Congratulations. Thoughts on collagen protein powder? Collagen, as far as I know, is very good. It's good for like ligaments, joints. I know James Shaw, who sits next to me, loves it. If you don't like the texture of whey shake, sure, give it a go. See how you go. Trent, Andrew Huberman, do you like him? I do. I really like him as a person. I like the data he purports. I like the way that he presents it. One thing which I'm hoping to find out with this kind of ice bar thing is like, are we as an industry, are people like Andrew Huberman et al., giving advice on things that are a bit far-fetched? So for instance, I'm giving these ice baths a go, right? But we need to appreciate what kind of benefits are we getting? Because if you're someone who earns £250,000 a year or £500,000 a year, sure, getting an ice tub that's got a chiller on it, that's going to, you know, crank your electricity bill, to have that going for 4 or 5 hours a day, to give you 3 minutes of exposure to cold water, for that person, it might be a good deal. But for someone else, if you're on a relatively, you know, good salary, but you don't have thousands of pounds to spend on something, could maybe taking creatine and setting a hard barrier to going to bed at 9 p.m., no phones after 9 p.m. Ultimately, when balancing the both, I don't think that we should be ramming down people's throats that don't want it, potentially. You must be doing cold exposure. You must be getting in the sauna, because a lot of people are like, fucking hell, mate. I'm struggling to afford a gym membership here. And you're telling me I need to spend 30 quid on ice to last me 2 days to have ice baths. I need to go get a gym membership for £120 a month at David Lloyd so I can sit in a sauna. When someone else comes along and goes, oh, get a tub of creatine, cheapest one, monohydrate, take that every day. How much? 5-10 grams. What else? Oh, maybe leave your phone outside your room. That could be life-changing for someone. So I do appreciate that maybe the advice we need to give people isn't always top tier. Like, oh, get sun in your eyes first moment. People are like, fucking hell, I've got kids. I'm trying to survive out here. Okay. When are you going to visit up here to Bozeman, Montana? I've been loving Yellowstone, guys. I've been loving it. And then I went back and did 1883. And then I started 1923. And now these are all like prequels to Yellowstone. Now, a lot of people out there are saying 1923 was the best. And yeah, you got Helen Mirren, who's a hell of a woman. You got Harrison Ford. But 1883 is the one. Any of you that have been watching 1883, you know, and Elsa, hell of a character. I'm not going to give too much away, but she is fit. And like one thing that 1883 and 1923 have over Yellowstone is they have a fit female character in it. I don't think that Yellowstone quite has the caliber. But that's, you know. Okay, Connor, top man. I look back on the Bloodwork vid. Thank you, Matt. Sorry, I've been ranting a bit there. I'm sorry about that. Just missed that. But 52 would like best advice about test support, possibly a recommendation. Okay, Matt. At 52, if you get your blood work done, sorry about that, 52, get your blood work done, take a look at your testosterone levels. Then maybe have a look. You've got like free testosterone, total testosterone. Then you've got like this sex hormone binding globulin, something like that. And take a look at it, get yourself checked out. Now, TRT and testosterone replacement is really for people that have something called hypogonadism, which is where their testicles are not producing enough testosterone. However, when you're in your 40s and your 50s, we become into this kind of like ethical debate where is it suitable or beneficial or potentially, you know, life altering in the positive means to take testosterone replacement? Now, there are downsides to taking TRT as well as upsides, but you know, if you're someone who's been training your whole life and weight training is a key integral part of your identity and your well-being and your mental health, then it can be something to consider. But general advice is if your testosterone is not in the right place, address it. If it is, go on with it. And I've seen some very different opinions on this, but one thing that is interesting is where like I think to myself, oh, maybe I'll get on TRT when I'm 40. And then other parts of me goes, maybe this decline in TRT is part of being a man. And like the reason I say this is a weird thing to talk about again, but maybe men are supposed to be super horny and, you know, reckless as teenagers. Then through their 20s, they want to fuck everything. And they get to their late 20s, they're like, right, I've been around a bit and I've realized I need a good woman in my life. So they settle down, and then their 30s and their 40s, and they become a bit flatter. And by their 50s, you know, you might be like not that horny, but maybe that's because you're not supposed to be an angry testosterone fueled 50-year-old. You're supposed to be in a position of delegating wisdom to younger men. I already at 33, I see a 23-year-old. I'm like, listen, mate, this is what's going to happen in your next 10 years. You know, so maybe men are supposed to go on this like downhill of testosterone so that we do become less aggressive, wiser, so that one day we can sit on a rocking chair outside the front of the house and teach the grandkids what they should learn. Okay, Glenna, I know I should be in a calorie deficit, but I work out a lot and feel like I'm absolutely starving. Should I cut back my workouts so I'm less hungry and eat less? No, so what I do is if you're starving, your deficit might be too low. So whatever you're at, I don't know if you've used my calculator. I'll give you a link down here. There you go. Just popped a link in. If you're starving, that's not an indication that you're doing much training. It's probably an indication that you're not eating enough for that amount of training. I would never step back on the training front. How do I manage cravings when I'm stressed? They're probably not craving. When people are stressed, they eat more. You're looking for like emotional comfort, aren't you? How do I manage cravings when I'm stressed? What's interesting here is that you want to manage the cravings. I would say, how can you manage the stress? You know, what is it that's stressing you out? Could you reframe that or do some like cognitive behavioral therapy to deal with the stress? Because then ultimately you got cause and effect here, cause, stress, effect, cravings. Surely you want to address the cause, not the effect. Abby, craving a binge, been fighting for it a week. Any tips considering the CFD? I want to finish my challenge strong. Have a day off. Eat what you want. Let's say you want a pizza, don't have 4. Just have a pizza. Say you want a McDonald's, just go to McDonald's and have it. I assure you, the emotional relief that you get from this binge will probably in the long run be a good idea. Sometimes you got to let some steam out. When you're opening a bottle of Coke Zero, right, and you know that it's been shaken up in the boot of the car, you got to let a bit of gas out for the greater good. Otherwise, you're going to make a mess. And that's what I'd say to you. Let a bit of that gas out. Just go do it, because you'll probably feel a bit shit after, and you go, "This is why I'm not eating these foods again." You'll feel you'll feel guilty a little bit. Probably you can carry that into next week, but also you'll feel relieved, and you get to put that at bay. Like having a wank before you go on a date. Sometimes it's better to get it out of the system. Okay, Decalion. Are the big, indented, overhanging pectoral muscles attainably naturally? I don't think I've seen anyone natural with the upper chest bulging. To be honest, I wouldn't say they're always linked to steroids, but chest is a very difficult part of the body to develop, and it needs a lot of progression over time. I do think there is a genetic part of it. Really, what I would say is make yourself very competent at horizontal presses, like your bench press, your dumbbell chest press, your press ups, all of these things, get your cable flies, all of this. But ultimately improve your metrics of performance in every realm you can and see what the byproduct is. But setting yourself up, say, I'm not going to be happy unless I have a big chest, is very difficult. What advice would you give to the swimmers? I don't know what you mean by that. What swimmers? Okay, been working out since summer 21. I've been fat my whole life. Should I get lean then bulk? Yeah, or imagine this. Let's reframe the way you're even looking at the scenario. Lose fat, then focus on muscle growth. You're going to be focused on muscle growth as you lose fat, but eventually you're going to not need your deficit anymore, and you can just start to eat more. So imagine this. Someone who's fat, worried, do I bulk, then do I cut, then I bulk? Imagine this. Train hard, lift weights, eat high protein, reduce calories, lose fat, then do the exact same thing, but with the more calories that you don't need to cut out anymore. Michael, I'm 4 weeks into muscle growth program. Should I start taking creatine to get faster, better results? Think about it like this. Creatine is going to boost and benefit your performance in those sessions that you have to build muscle. So if you're bolstering your performance and you're getting more reps, I saw a study recently that people that supplement creatine got like 12% more reps. So that is something that's, something that would be a good idea, but not essential. Some people do feel a little bit sick when they take creatine. So there you go. Gemma, how can I strengthen a very weak lower back? I lean forward, it feels like I'm going to go. I need to use my arms to help me get back up. Okay, if you're injured, definitely see a physio. But if even leaning forward causes you lower back pain, I would assume that you are not hip hinging properly. It's very rare that I come across someone that's got a weak lower back. When you lean forward and put your hands to the ground, you should feel it in your hamstrings, not your lower back. Now, the reason that you're probably feeling it in your lower back is, let's say this is your legs, this is your spine. As you lean forward, you're rounding here. The movement's occurring in the spine. When really what you want is for your butt to go backwards, your chest goes forward. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a visual representation, 3 reps of the wrong way to lean forward and 3 reps of the right way to lean forward. Number 1. When you got weights, the way I cue this with my clients, take your knees off lock. I don't really like stiff leg deadlifts. Romanian deadlifts and stiff leg deadlifts are very different. Take your knees off lock. You do this in your front room, wherever you are. So Gemma, you're going to go into your front room. You're going to imagine there is an invisible button on the wall behind you. Yes, an invisible button. Now you're going to take your chest towards the floor and you're going to send your butt back to touch the invisible button with your butt. Yeah, the invisible button with your butt. And then when you get to that point where your hamstrings no longer have range of motion, you feel that stretch, time to come back up. Because ultimately your hamstrings, the tendons, and the back of the legs, they've got a lot of insertions and whatever. We're not going to get into that. As you lean forward, they lengthen. Imagine like a crane has to lengthen cables to allow the crane to dip forward. That's what your hamstring's doing. Your hamstrings, your glutes, are what pull the crane up. The lower back is more of a stabilizer. It's more of a muscle that stays in position. So yeah. Are there natural ways to increase testosterone? Yes. Sleep, sunlight, low amounts of stress, low amounts of body fat, not low amounts of body fat, optimal amounts of body fat. But for instance, a friend of mine, I won't name him, is a trainer and he works in a gym all day. He's very little amounts of natural light. He trains a huge amount and he's got kids that don't sleep too well. And he plays a part in trying to raise the children the best he can. And he doesn't sleep enough. So he was staring down the barrel of having rock bottom testosterone because he's shredded. He's in great shape. He works long days. He doesn't get enough light. So he's gone down the route of TRT because his body just isn't going to be able to produce it. So his doctor was like, right, I need you to work less hours. I need you to get outside more. I need you to sleep more. And he's like, I can't. If I do that, I can't provide for my family. I can't do the things I need to. So he went down that route. He knows the health benefits and concerns that are going to be with it. But yeah. Claudia, is 30% body fat healthy for a woman? Okay, this is a very difficult question because 30% to one person is very different to another. Not to mention the fact that health is not determined by body fat percentage. Body fat percentage has a big part to play in it. But, you know, one business that spends, probably not the best analogy, I could have someone at 30% body fat who's incredibly fit, incredibly active, plays sport every day, eats a lot, but they sleep well, they're not stressed, they live a good life. Or I could have someone at 30% body fat who binges on junk food, has no cardiovascular health, doesn't go outside, overstressed, all of these things. These are two very different things. We're only looking at one metric. We need to look at health and mental health and all of these things as like tables with lots of legs, right? The more legs that are developed and, you know, of the right length will stabilize that. You kick one leg out and it isn't the end of the world. But when you start to break down different structures in different places, then you're fucked. Now, 30% or let's say a high percent of body fat in someone isn't to say that person isn't healthy, but it's probably a pretty good predictor in some cases. Because if you're at a high level of body fat, maybe that's more inclined, more chances that you don't exercise that much. Now, if you don't exercise that much, you probably don't partake in that many health-seeking behaviors. If you don't partake in that many health-seeking behaviors, you probably don't eat that well. Now, if you don't eat that well, you don't feel that well. And if you don't feel that well, you look to junk foods and hedonic foods to feel better. So then you're in this self-perpetuating cycle of binging and eating and doing all of this shit. So, you know, there are going to be overweight people. I'm not saying 30% body fat is technically overweight, but there are going to be overweight people that are healthy. Not all of them, but there are some. And then there are others. Imagine this. I'm one of the higher body fat percentages of a personal trainer. I just am. There are some higher than me, but whatever. My cardiovascular fitness is pretty good, especially in jiu-jitsu. I could do 90 minutes of sparring, 5-minute rounds nonstop. The bodybuilders that come to jiu-jitsu, I see them, they're jacked, they're womped, they're lean. Some of them are juicy, but they can never keep up with my cardiovascular fitness. Now, if we were to take our tops off, you would probably say they were healthier, they were fitter, they, you know, look better. But because I train 6 hours a week of sparring and I do weight training and I sleep well and I recover well and I eat well, all of these things, we can't just use body fat percentages as a determinant of overall health. So sorry, that's a long one. Okay, I'm going to have to speed up some of these answers. Sorry if they sound facetious. Is being too skinny ever advisable? No. Okay, thoughts on doing a single cycle of MK677? I don't know enough about SARMs, peptides, all of that, if I'm honest. Do workouts completed allow you to eat more when trying to stay in a deficit? No, because the amount of calories, as you can see on my calculator down there, already has your exercise included. If I'm giving you 2,500 calories for fat loss, you're like, oh, can I eat back calories? No, because it's already included. And then the days you don't train, you just have a smaller deficit. Jen, I play netball and ankle injuries are notorious. And I've thought if I can strengthen them, I could avoid injury because it's less likely to roll. So it makes sense to do a stability exercise. Thanks. Jen, my missus is a netball coach. If you give me, I don't know, most of you have probably found her on socials anyway. So you strap your ankles for every training session because ankle injuries are so prone. But then if you stabilize the ankle too much, then the knee, this is what we saw with people wearing high tops in basketball, the knee was more likely because if the ankle can't buckle, then the knee goes. Now, in my opinion, I think stability and strength and also just frequency of, you know, exposing yourself to this. Netball's, I watched my missus play some netball matches. It's fucking insane, the amount of pressure you got to push off. Yeah. I would look to do single leg drills, hop drills. She just like drop jumps. She actually puts quite a lot of, it's called if you search Taylor Davies, you'll find her. I don't usually like giving out a name because then people send her horrible things. But anyway, yeah, she's the netball coach and she's very big into avoiding injury. What are your thoughts on Whoop? I think you said trying it out again. I am trying it out again. So last time I used Whoop, it was a good few years ago. It stopped working and it kind of pissed me off. But I actually just want more data from my sleep, my recovery and everything like that. I want to see. And also Darren got one as well. And we're just going to see. Like, sometimes I won't get the strain as everyone else, but fuck me. I get real competitive when it comes to like recovery. I'm like, right, to my missus, go to sleep. I got to get better fucking recovery than Darren. Okay. Where'd you get your men's health related testing in the UK? I'm not in the UK, I'm in Australia, but you can buy a blood test online, then go to like a pathology clinic and just get it taken. All right. How much weight for compound weight exercises? And I say, mate, Junaid, sorry if that's your name. If you don't know how to create a program, you can get one for free on my app, jamesacademy.com. And then you'll just have to pay if you want to keep it. And if you don't want to keep it, advice for recovering that mind-body connect to lower abs and core. Been doing all recommended exercise till diastasis recti for 1 year. Core is stronger, but still don't feel that connected to my lower abs. Okay, a lot of exercises you are being prescribed. I don't know whether or not for female health. A lot of exercises you're given for core are hip flexor exercises. Unless you're starting with flared ribs and ended up with closed ribs, if your ribs are not getting closer to your pelvis, you're not properly contracting your abs. Doing a recomp, does it really matter if I eat my calories in 3 meals opposed to what the gym want me to do in 6 meals? Not that much difference. Now, from muscle growth perspective, 5 feedings is probably optimal. That's probably why they're doing 6. In a perfect world, you'd have 5 feedings of 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram per feeding, but negligible. If you do it in 3 meals, probably no one's going to know. Just say to your gym, yeah, 6 meals. Yeah, 6 meals. How long have you been training BJJ? What's your height and weight? I've been training about 5 and a bit years. I am 6 foot and I'm about 94.5 kilograms. Is it okay to be a freeloading question here? Yeah, go on. Why does my PT keep trying to get me to do explosive leg movements like jump squat, high knees, burpees, etc.? I sodding hate it. Probably because he doesn't really know that much about training. Like, let's be honest. So your trainer, when I see these exercises, he's trying to make you tired. So that when you leave, you go, fucking hell, I'm shattered. You go to work, you go, oh, I'm fucked. And then you go, oh, my trainer's really good because he gets me tired. Anyone can make you fucking tired. Most people that know what they're doing will keep your feet on the floor in a session, unless you're an athlete. Like, you don't need to be doing jumping and explosive movements. Not many people do. You would be squatting at a sensible tempo, taking sensible recovery. I would spend half my sessions with clients just chatting to them. Then my watch would beep. I'd be like, cool, next set. And the progress comes from lifting heavier over time. And yeah, you probably get a new PC, mate. And Andy, fucking check out the academy, man. Unless you've got no equipment, you're not going to be doing much of that. Ever dealt with new fathers, James? Guaranteed poor sleep, stress, job demands. How can you get through this phase unscathed? I think it's about expectations, if I'm honest with you, mate. You know, you can't have both. Business, body, relationships. This is what I say. So business, body, relationships. Maybe I'll do a video on this today. If you're going to focus on 2, one's got to suffer. So if you're going to focus on your business and your relationships, especially with a new kid, the body's going to suffer, but it's about doing the best you can. If you're a new father, this is the most important bit of advice. Are you doing the best you can with your diet, training, and nutrition? It doesn't have to look good on paper. You might go, James, I'm on takeaway 3 days a week. I'm like, is that the best you can do? If you can honestly say yes, then ride through it. You know, being a provider to a family and a father to a son is way more important than being shredded. Plus, I get in trouble for saying this, but humans are often hard to kill. If you have a couple of years sleep deprived and, you know, think about it this way, hundreds of thousands of years of lineage of people being kept up by their kids in caves and teepees and shit like that. You've got internet, Wi-Fi, a waterproof house, heating, aircon. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just do your best. Okay. All right. Fuck, there are so many questions here. James, you spoke about managing stress, reframing. Excellent free app called How We Feel. Thank you very much. Could dirty bulking be acceptable as long as you meet the protein requirements? You know, dirty bulking is a weird one because if you're struggling to get calories in, just fucking eat, right? Get your fruit, get your veg, just get it in, you know, like, because you're not going to get 4,000 or 5,000 calories in clean. You're just not. Now, clean eating is often to give people boring, bland foods that fill them up so that they can remain in a deficit. If you need to get food in, just fucking eat where you can because you need energy. Okay. Any tips for efficiency when it comes to creating content over multiple social media sites as a PT? Most of them accept it in the same format. I know that Mr. Beast said recently, never has there been a time that you can post the same video on all platforms. How's it going, Mr. J? Really liking your channel. Best vid made me laugh, the aloe vera. Thank you very much. It's the first video I ever did with a professional camera. You're a male in late 30s, find you have high cholesterol. What's the best course of action? Interesting one. So my LDL on my blood work was quite high. Like it was in the red range, and I got it checked out. I need to do another blood work because I was a bit dehydrated. I drank too much coffee. But I do not know enough about cholesterol. And some people I've gone to have been mixed reviews on it, if I'm honest. Mixed reviews. How'd you get such a thick neck? I wrestle a lot, if I'm honest. So I've always had a pretty big neck, actually, from, you know, rugby and whatnot. But yeah, neck training. I really want to get into some direct neck training. Okay, last few questions. Please stop asking them because I need to try and close this video off. Are there situations where high sugar drinks make sense to drink? Yeah, after really, really intense training. So let's say you've just run a marathon, trained jiu-jitsu, just competed, something where you've gone really, really hard. We need to get sodium, potassium, which are electrolytes. We need to get those in. Now, glucose accompanying those things is actually going to benefit the hydration and the recovery, because we break down glucose as a preferred source of energy in high intensity exercise. So what better? So what do we lose? Say you're training the hardest you can. What do you lose? You're losing sugar, you're losing salt, you're losing water. So it makes sense to have those things. That's why the Powerades, the Lucozades, these exist, because you need that element of glucose. So for instance, I trained for an hour and a bit of sparring on Saturday. I go to the petrol station, boom, I'm getting the full sugar Powerade because that's going to benefit me more than the sugar-free. Say I'm driving long distance and I feel a bit dehydrated and I've not really trained, I might have the sugar-free version. I do kickboxing, planning on getting BJJ judo. How do I increase my cardio so I don't pass out on the mats? Don't go too hard. You know, take it easy. Someone passes your guard, so what? Someone mounts you, so what? Someone arm bars you, so what? Remain calm. Any of you doing martial arts, keep breathing through the nose, brother. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. 3 months not enjoying personal training, chicken and rice every day and not enjoying the program. Downloaded JSA on the trial. Now I'm going to sign up. Legend, Carl. Welcome aboard. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Okay. How detrimental is it if you don't eat within 2 hours of exercise? I mean, it's not best practice if you're looking to build muscle, but you'll be fine. You know, that anabolic is not that important. The most important thing is that you're consistent with your training, you're turning up, you're following a program. If you don't eat for 1 hour or 3 hours, I don't think it makes the biggest amount of difference. Okay, let's have a look. Does JSA supply a training program, or can you write nutrition plans to help meet the criteria? Okay, this is just quickly a little plug for the James Academy for any of you that aren't in it. So when you jump on the trial, you create an account, you tell us about yourself. We then, on the free trial, will send you a free program we think is right for you. This is made by a real person, a real coach. You then have enough time to try it out, go to the gym. Now, if you wish to have that changed, or you wish to have it amended, but you like the structure, you like the interface, you like the app, you like the pricing, you join. When you join, you go back to your coach, you go, oh, I don't really like front squats. Cool, we'll change it. You message them, you go, oh, I'm really struggling with this. What can I do? Someone messages you back. Now, to keep costs down, you will get rotations on the coaches from time to time, because if we were to give you one coach for the entire time, they've got their own clients, their own training, their own things they're doing in their own life. They help support me at different periods of their day. A lot of my coaches have got kids, they've got families. So, you know, they're going to wake up at 5 a.m., service JSA clients for 3 hours, then they're going to get on with their day. So you will have to wait 24 hours for that coach to jump in. But everything in the app is about getting good advice from real coaches in real time to the best of our ability. The app is about £40 a month, so about $80 a month. That's cheaper than a PT session for a month. And all of the things we do is to keep costs down for the end user, because there are a lot of people that can afford personal training face-to-face. There's a lot of people that just aren't serviced for or helped or accommodated for because they can't afford to have someone with them to carry their towel and count their reps. And that's where the JSA comes in, the James Smith Academy. I'll leave you a link at the bottom if you do want to check it out, any of you that are potentially keen on joining. And again, the trial's free. If you go to the trial, you love it, you join, cool. And if you don't, and even let's say you do join and within 2 weeks you go, mate, this isn't for me, drop me an email, I'll refund you in full. So that's the James Smith Academy. Thank you very much for tuning in. That was a very long live. To all my JSA members, lots of love. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you ever need me, I'm always on email, james@jamessmithacademy.com. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch up with you lot in a bit. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.